Hello and welcome back to the Fish Locker Workshop. I'm now going to take some time to talk to you about live bait rigs. My version of which I like to use what's called the Snell Knot. Now I rig my live bait rigs like this. The Snell Knot, I don't know if you can see, is there. It then runs down to a little chino. This is a 4/0, 5/0. I use Scotch tape, plumber's tape, to hold the line across the back. The way that this rig works, you've got your normal hook length to a barrel swivel that clips up to whatever you're using. I like to use an up and over rig with this so that my rig maintains as much contact with the bottom as possible. What you do is you bait this hook. A little fish comes along, eats this bait and is hooked on the smaller hook. A bigger fish then comes and eats the small fish and is hooked onto this bigger hook. Some people like to use like an Aberdeen style, like that. Also, instead of Scotch tape, you can use heat shrink, which is just as good. The reason why I don't like to use an Aberdeen hook is because, as has happened to me in the past, when you cast out sometimes you can hook a flatfish like a dab. A dab will swallow the bait, it'll give you one bite and it'll just sit still. It won't move at all. So you sat there looking for a bite, nothing's happening, you think alright, bait's still there, but actually you've got a dab sat on there. I caught my PB dab, I think it was £1.6, £1.7, on one of these rigs completely by accident, and I didn't know it was hooked, and I sat there for nearly an hour with it hooked. Didn't realise until I wound in. Chinos, not only are they fantastic for hookups, but with a slightly larger gape, I don't seem to catch as many flatfish with them. You could rig them slightly differently, and instead of using like a long shank hook, some people like to use like a big boy or a larger chino to have a little bait holder hook, but it's the same theory. The Snell Knot, like I say, I like to use like a 4/0, 5/0, but you can go bigger. If you're fishing for cod, cod's mouths are massive. The same for bass. I've caught bass before where you can fit your entire fist inside their mouth. Cod, they're like that. Conger as well. Conger love pouting. A good rig for catching them is a live bait pouting. First thing you do is you'll pass your line up and through your hook. Then part way down your shank you create a loop like this. You then take this line and go round. I go around 8 times. 7, 8. So it looks like that. You then take this end and go through this loop. What's going to happen now is you're going to wet the lot and pull this, which tightens this loop, like that there. All I'm doing there is I'm slowly sliding down and slowly tightening up to make sure all of the links all tighten up evenly. Now, as you can see, we've got a nice, neat knot there. And I've left myself enough line to tie my little chino hook on. Now, some people like to leave your line, leave the hook few inches away, like that. I like to have them pretty much on the back of the other hook. So, little uni knot. One, two, three, four. Right, take off your tag end, and then take a little strip of top Scotch tape, and tape it all up. The reason that you tape it up is because if you didn't, this fish could hook up and it would just be around, and if it got ate by another fish, this hook would potentially not go in its mouth, whereas you want the hook to be right up behind it. Like that. So that a little fish will eat this, leaving this hook. It's still swimming around alive. Something bigger comes and eats the little fish and it's hooked on this. Then I'd run 4 feet, 5 feet, however long you want to make it. If you're fishing for conger in the rocks, maybe only make it 2 foot. If you're fishing on a sandy beach, 3 foot. If you're using an up and over rig, could be up to 4 foot long. It's completely up to you, whatever you want to do. If you were fishing from a pier, as I have done before, sometimes what I will do is I will make it possibly 2 foot long. I'll then go to a barrel swivel. I've got a little area where I fish which is an old quarry, and there are some nice fish in there, but it is snag city. Now what I tend to do there is I'll fish straight down by the wall. So literally you just poke the rod top over the end. I will fish, if this is my main line coming down from my leader, I've got a large snap swivel. I will connect my live bait rig directly to that. I will then create a rotten bottom link with my lead. I will usually use maybe £15, £20 line, 2 double loops, one on either end, through once, through twice. The reason I use this is any of the little fish that are living there, generally poor cod, pouting, sometimes little tiny pollock, even rockling, you pick one of those up on your live bait hook. I take my weight, anything from a few ounces, sometimes I even use just nuts and bolts, just because I'm fishing in such rough ground. I don't want to be losing too many leads. Lead onto one end. Connect that straight up. So that's my rig. Rotten bottom onto there, live base onto here. So when I pick up, say for instance a conger or a nice bass or a decent bullhuss, and this gets caught, this snaps off, leaving me just connected to my live bait. The live bait rig with the Snell knot.